Fill her up.
You're listening to the Gas Digital Network.
What do you get when you mix two white boys, both named Mike? A thing for Justin Timberlake and a piercing above your eye. Was he high? Their stories alone could make you cry. That's when you want to make your Irish goodbye.
Whoa, these camera angles are... Hey, here I am. Hi.
I don't feel handsome right now. Look at this fucking wild-ass face, bro.
You look like you're a player on the fucking Red Sox.
Dude, I look like I'm going through it.
I don't know. You just look like you're a fucking, a Massachusetts boy.
All right.
Yeah.
You
look like you just got done, working at the docks. You're going to have a Coors banquet.
Beating up a dude in a sequin shirt, kid.
Yeah. And you're going to tell the people your political opinions.
Oh, they'll hear about it.
What was?
South African meets Massachusetts? I don't know. I couldn't tell you. I don't know what's going on with my face. It's thrown. I got pink under my eyes. I don't know what's going on. I took an edible. This is going to be an old school episode.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, I'm like...
You took an edible?
Yeah, I'm hanging on to a frictionless surface right now.
Yeah,
I'm like a cat on ice.
Well, at least you immediately just smoked, too, so that...
Well, I wanted to jumpstart things.
Yeah, did it ever. Welcome, everybody, to another episode of Irish Goodbye Podcast, a storytelling podcast. I'm one of your hosts, Mike Feeney, being joined with me, as always.
Mike Cannon. I feel like, the edibles are like standing at the edge of a cliff in a squirrel suit. Yeah. And smoking is your friend shoving you off said cliff.
Yeah, but
I would have done both hands,
but no,
I got it totally caught.
Yeah, but that's also not a fully accurate analogy, because what it is it's a squirrel suit that after you get pushed, you don't know when it's going to start working.
Well, your arms are weird.
Yeah, well, you're falling and you're going, I would love for this to work now, and then it just goes, nope. Maybe today, maybe tomorrow.
Well, the idea in your brain was traveling to your arms, but it stopped in your neck for a deli sandwich.
You're gonna be like, to open a deli?
Open a deli.
Yeah. So I mean, what a weird world we're living in here. I'm coming fresh off of I did a show last night on Zoom that was it was fun because I knew some of the comics in there and stuff, but I am pretty sure I bombed. It's so hard on Zoom. If this was in person, I could have told you for sure. But on a Zoom call, there's the gallery of people. But in this show, when you're talking, they highlight you as the spotlight.
Sure.
So your face, and you see like two people maybe below you,
right.
And then the rest are in the other view. And all the people have their microphones muted. So it's like I would need to, and so while I'm watching it, I'm trying not to look at me.
Yeah.
Looking at me. So I'm kind of avoiding even looking at the Zoom while I'm kind of just playing to my computer camera right down the fucking lens, the barrel of a gun.
Just staring the dick right in the hole.
Just right down the barrel of the gun, and then I'm pausing, and there's just no reactions.
Deafening
or
silence.
Deafening silence.
Digital void.
I'm like, is it delay? Is it me? Is it everything? So I start being like, so I'm just rifling through material. But what also didn't help was the fact that the comic who went on before me had a full presentation, a PowerPoint presentation on this conspiracy theory about...
Some people are really adapting to this new normal, and it's infuriating.
Yeah, and it's like, it was all about like the Muppets and conspiracy theories, and it was very funny, but it was like really, really well produced and well done. You could tell hours went into this for sure. So it was one of those things where I'm like, I thought that this was billed to me as a low pressure situation. So I just wrote down 5 premises I wanted to try and say and see if there was anything. So then
I wanted to see if some of the muted mics would lead to a creative thought.
Yeah, so I not only have to follow somebody who's like, turn this into a Penn and Teller show, but also now I'm not prepared. I'm doing half premises with no confidence, and they're on mute. And so I'm just like going through being like, is this working? Am I okay? Like, just having a full, like, I got done with it and I was just sweating. And I'm like,
you're just looking at yourself sweating.
yeah, but then afterwards, one of the other comics was telling me that they were, that there were a lot of people left and they're just on mute and they were all like smiling and stuff. And you're like, well, fuck, I guess I have to enlarge that and just look at the gallery view and not myself or something like that so I could see people. But this is how funny it was too. And so I at one point, and one of like pretty early on, right after I saw this comedian who I was following do that whole presentation, I was like, oh, I gotta readjust expectations for what my set's gonna be.
Right.
So then I just lied immediately and just said I mistimed an edible, so that way
I've done that a million times, including this podcast. No,
remember 3 minutes ago?
Yeah.
No, so
I'm
just
sober.
I just was like, I mistimed an edible just in case, just so that I had an out for when things weren't going well and stuff like that. And boy, did I use it a bunch.
Yes.
And
did it work?
Yeah, I mean, I guess.
Right.
I mean, it still felt like I was bombing, but at least people were like, oh, okay, I get it. You know, that kind of a thing.
Do you know what comedy is right now? This just made me realize it, because comedy is like we're dating a chick from California. Because, we're doing shit over Zoom. Everything is digital. You're getting like half satiated, but shit's cutting out. You can't even come correctly.
Yeah.
And then you get to fuck her every couple of months or weeks or whatever when we actually do indoor live
I'd be
shows.
like, yeah, I'd like to do that more, but
Yeah.
I guess back to the snow for me.
Yeah,
And so,
I guess we'll keep living 3,000 miles apart.
yeah, but even I was texting because Richie Redding was on the show, and I was texting with him afterwards, and I told him that I just said that, and he was like, "That was a fucking veteran comic move right there."
Yeah,
Is to just be like, just immediately
Set the handicap.
track set, track course correct immediately, so there was no way around it.
It's perfect. What did Richie go? Guys, I relapsed.
Yeah,
First
that's
time,
what I was-
18 years.
Yeah. It was insane, man. But yeah, there's a lot. I have a few little dumb things, but did your
Sure. I mean, I have a saga. You know, I have comics Mohegan Sun.
Oh,
Speaking of in person, under a roof, stand-up comedy.
we'll get into that, and then I'll pepper in some of these other things along the way.
Sweet. So, it's rare, and also, kind of you want to appreciate it. Everything about doing a weekend now seems like precious.
Yes,
A little bit. It's great. It's also a little stressful because, again, we're in the middle of a pandemic.
We sure are.
Especially in a casino, people aren't necessarily their most responsible selves, as evidenced by several weeks ago when Feeney said a drunk person in that same casino punched his way through a box of needles.
Yeah.
So, going in with that information, I'm excited, anxiety pumping, all of that.
Isn't it so weird how this does feel? Because again, the weekends are fewer and far between now. It almost feels like we're like second-year comics in terms of how you feel. Like you said, precious when a road gig comes.
Yeah.
When you're like, oh man, this never happens. I'm so excited this is happening. But instead, you're headlining. You know what I mean? Like you used to say that about hosting a show. And now you're like, oh wow, it almost feels like
host.
yeah.
Except I have to close.
Yeah. And so it's this weird thing of being like, oh, like I feel like this is so exciting, and who knows what's going to happen. It also feels foreign and weird. It's so bizarre now, man.
Yeah, I mean, I talked about it when I did Uncle Vinny's. It took me 4 nights to get comfortable. Like by the 3rd night, I felt okay, but by the 4th, I was like, oh, I'm a comic again, kinda. Like I at least feel like I belong on stage.
Sure.
But again, since that was probably like a 2-week thing, maybe 3 weeks ago.
Yeah.
Since that, I've had one show, like one city set or whatever, and then, I do this weekend. So excited. I obviously would love to bring Brendan. That's who we both bring whenever we can.
Yeah.
He had just been there with you, so they were like, bring somebody else. And I'm like, I don't know a single other person. I literally had that thought while I was on that email. I was like, I don't know if I know any other comics. I think Brendan's the only person I know.
Boy, are you going to get a lot of DMs after this
Go ahead.
episode.
DM me. I'll consider it. I mean, I'm looking for a friend, a clean friend.
Friend.
A friend. So, Gordon, I lucked out though, because I go just pick a local or whatever the fuck. I don't care. So Gordon Baker Bone, really funny comic. I've also started with him. We used to do prom shows together in like our first year of comedy. That was the show. I remember, I think I've said this on the podcast, a million times, but like when we had a day job, or when I had a day job, I was there from 9 to 6:30. I would do an open mic immediately. I would do like a bar show or whatever, and then after that at like 1 a.m. I'd do a fucking prom show, and that was 1 to 3. Then Ricky Velez and I would drive back to Queens, Elmhurst. We'd get back at my place at like 4. We'd smoke. He'd leave at 5. I'd go to bed at like 5:30, and then I'd wake up at 7:30 to start the same day over again.
Yeah.
Fucking insane when you like think about all that.
Yeah, it's not a sustainable model.
Not at all. I was like ripping butts and taking Addy nonstop, dude. I was just like walking around Union Square, not blinking, watching hobo fights all the time. So what did that have to do with Gordon?
We'll find out.
Nothing. So either way, we did prom shows together. That was that. And then I went off on that whole life tangent.
Yeah.
So I'm excited to see him. I get to the club and he's like mellow, and everybody's kind of like spread out and mellow for the most part. So I don't want to encroach, and I also want my space as well. Like, again, I don't get sleep. I'm with my son and my wife all the time. So I'm up at fucking 7 a.m. and then going and working all day in between naps and figuring out with Nicole and then, podcasts and all that shit. So like, it's also kind of like a mini little self-wellness week, 4 days to kind of fucking recharge and fill my cup. And so I'm looking at it kind of as that. So the first night though, the show, Gordon goes up and he's being like, he's getting heckled immediately, like, and it's kind of like 3/4 of whatever the capacity, 25% capacity. It's not incredibly packed or anything like that, but certainly full enough to have a good show.
Sure.
And, he's getting heckled immediately. It's kind of annoying. It's this one lady dead in the center, and she's like, like I can only hear the muffled through the door.
Right.
And so I get out there, and the first night, I could tell the crowd was actually good. So I was like hitting a little jokes, and then this lady started heckling, and I just did my thing. The thing that we've said on the show where I'm like, it never changes. It never fucking changes, no matter how much time we have apart from each other, no matter how rare this is for this amount of people to congregate in an inside room. Some mediocre to decent-looking white chick in her fucking 20s has to squawk up because she can't believe 90 minutes is going to go by without explicit attention being paid to her.
Correct.
And the entire crowd erupts, like as if I'm a sultan. They're like, unfucking believable.
Yeah.
We've been waiting for that. What an absolute smash. And I gotta tell you, it's the first time I felt alive in months. I was like, holy shit, all my blood is pumping through my body. I have fucking lightning bolts coming off of my fingertips.
Right.
Like I'm breathing fire again. And then I'm just like, what the she keeps. That didn't do anything because she's shameless.
If anything, it only added to it.
Oh, yeah. Then the show was about her, and it did well, but she doesn't chalk it up to a loss.
No.
That's
the frustrating part.
That's the frustrating part, and kind of hilarious also, is that, like, everyone knows what just happened except for her.
Right. But if she wasn't oblivious, she wouldn't have been squawking in the beginning.
And isn't it weird that both of those realities have to coexist because she's so confident?
Yeah, I guess.
Isn't that insane?
Or just like maybe it was just coddled and sheltered. I don't know.
Yeah, well, all of it plays into that. But because she holds her ground because she's so fucking confident, we all have to like. Like you don't know.
Right.
So whatever, I smashed her. And yeah, I said I just wrote here, there is nothing more satisfying than just crushing a deserving asshole. And I said, that's why Twitter sucks. And it's right. That is why Twitter and social media sucks. Because regardless if you win in, likes or whatever and you smash somebody, you can never see the full disappointment on their face. And I also asked her, I was like, why are you, what's going on? And she's like, it's his birthday. So it's her boyfriend's birthday, and I'm like, then why are you yelling?
Yeah, she probably has been drinking with him, I assume.
Of course, but it's not her day. I was like, what a terrible girlfriend you are, just taking the spotlight on your man's special day.
Don't you love it?
Yeah, how about just give him a chance to ride off into the sunset and have everybody appreciate him for another turn around the sun? I mean, buddy, I was firing, though. I found my cunt flow.
I love that.
You know what I mean? When
Felt good.
You just need some catalyst, some person to absolutely just, like, put a ball in your sweet spot and you hit it with the fucking meat of the barrel.
Yeah.
So, on edibles. Oh, yeah. Then, what the hell is this? I don't even know what it is. Oh, shit. So, the show's over, right? I leave the thing. I get some food. I go back to my room. Again, I'm like trying to remain a little bit isolated, all that stuff. I get in my room and I ate a ton of edibles, you know, because again, I'm alone. I had mushrooms. I was considering doing that, but I'll tell you why I didn't do it. So I'm in the room and I'm on edibles and I hear like, you know, in a cartoon when like 8 animals get in a fight and there's like a coyote foot and, you know, a beak and all this stuff kind of flying out of a cloud and springs and all that stuff.
Exclamation points.
I was hearing that coming towards my door. Like a fight, a yell, like everything. And I'm like, what the fuck is this? What is going on? And then I hear, and it's my room, and they grab the knob of my door and we're like, let us in, gay lord, let us in. Like just a bunch of dudes, drunk, and I'm just in the dark, huddling in my room, just being like, I never wanted to be this vulnerable.
Yeah.
Like I thought I would be ready.
Did you go and look through the peephole?
No, I couldn't even acknowledge that they were really there. I just like thought Kevin McAllister put on a movie right outside of my door and was like, you know, playing some hijinks. I did not want to verify what was going on. So we then that kind of goes away. They start shoving, you know, shattering the door or whatever, and they walk away. And I forget what movie I was watching, but I think it was like High Tension. You know, it was like some action movie that I was fully immersed in and really enjoying. And then I hear the same fight in the room next door, just like they're having the biggest spring break party of all time. And it's coming through my vent as if all of them
so loud in there.
Are personally speaking to me.
Yeah, dude. It's so that Mohegan Sun, one of the towers, it's like the newer tower, but the walls are so thin. And because of that vent, you hear every fucking thing.
It's like the pyramids. Like Wi-Fi travels perfectly in the math of this fucking place. And I'm just hearing like wild sexual threats amongst friends and like, you know, threats of like, you know, assault on the chicks that were there, and they're like, no, like, and it's just every fucking awful thing that you could possibly think of. And then I put on porn, like on my computer as loud as I could, and I played it into the vent. You did it. I did. I stood up and I played it into the vent, and I heard them go, shh, shh, somebody's fucking over there. So I'm the biggest loser on earth. I just fucking bounced from a social situation after having a good set, after getting my life back a little bit, being high on 100 million milligrams of edibles, and I faked that I was fucking to impress or scare away.
Were you holding it up with one hand and then on the other hand just slowly, rhythmically banging the wall?
I wasn't. That actually would have been perfect. That's kind of like rubbing your belly and tapping your head, though. I don't know if I could do that.
You can.
Okay.
That's fun.
Yeah, so that was day one.
Yeah. All right, hit me with the. Unless you want me, do you want me to say something and then go back into it, or what?
Yeah, you get into something.
I'll tell this. This is a because I also have there's a little crazy saga that happened, a mini saga I should say, yesterday, that, or not yesterday but last week, which was, as we talked about on the episode that we did, this last week's episode, is that I had all that thing of the computer charger ended up, my computer charger died, and I talked about this last episode.
Yeah.
I went to Alex's house to get it, and all that other stuff. So the day afterwards, Alex, and she'll come into this story at some point, messages me and is like, hey, so it turns out I can't update my laptop until I get that charger back. It has to be plugged into the charger, and it needs to be returned by tomorrow. So I'll come get it, and then I'll update the thing, and I'll...
He responded, habla no inglés.
Sorry, the person you're trying to reach has a blocked number. So Alex fucking comes, she's like, I'll be there at 11 a.m. And then she's like, all right, looking more like 2 p.m. And then all of a sudden goes, all right, it's 4 p.m.
Cable guy Alex gives a fucking 4-hour window on which she's got.
I mean, it doesn't matter because I was at home, I was editing, so I needed a charger anyway, so it worked out for me perfectly. But Alex shows up at 4 p.m. like a mother who is late to pick up her kids. She's she's stressed and her hair is going everywhere. She's wearing
She's got curlers in.
she's got a long
Painted toes with tissues in between.
she's got a long overcoat on and just a robe underneath it, like just full anxiety, double parked, like just full anxiety.
I got 6 kids in the car. Give me the fucking charger.
Yeah, the stove is still on. You know, so
My cat has to take his pills.
someone better be stirring the rice. You know, just screaming. And so she peels out and does, goes on 2 tires as she turns the corner. And then, Alex, what was the rest of, because then you came back later on, later that night, and you came back, and I got to meet Alex's boyfriend.
Oh.
She didn't introduce him as that, which I'm sure, and I hope was a conversation you two had, because she was like, this is, Johnny, or like whatever his name, I don't want to say his real name, but she's like, this is Johnny.
What a Cobra Kai introduction.
Yeah, she goes, this is Johnny. He's just looking at me, like menacingly rolling a joint, being like, not barely looking up. Yeah, just being like, almost like a "why are we stopped" kind of a thing. Like Alex didn't even explain what was happening in the situation
Or who you are to her.
Yeah. He just was looking at me, being like,
You didn't even say this is my boss.
No, she didn't. She's probably like, I have to bring this back because this fucking asshole. Yeah. So he just rolled up. He's just fucking looking
This
at me.
podcast I produce as a favor to Lewis.
Yeah. It's one of the original ones, but now it's 30th on my list of 48 that I produced. And so, but yeah, he was just looking up at me and really sizing me up, But Alex, so what
do you
was-
have to say about Mike?
What was the in between? What first off, after you left and all of that in between, and then up to that moment that you came back.
All right, yeah, I left. I had to go home and reset my entire MacBook, which I really truly thought was going to take like 20 minutes. It's like a whole afternoon thing. I was having a major panic attack about it. I had a feeling you were going to have something to say about my appearance.
Well, it didn't help that you started pegging him with cats as you ran up to him.
So I got all that finally taken care of. Actually, I gave up at a certain point. I'm not.
Had one shoe on is what I picture. I can't be sure.
I'm not taking you to hockey practice anymore.
I'm turning the car around. We're getting Burger King.
I'll be honest. I'm not even sure if I actually cleared all the data off of that MacBook or not. Like I tried. I did it for hours, and I was like, this better be enough. Like,
But what if footage of Lewis saying the N-word falls into the wrong hands?
Then they'll just have been on iTunes and listen to Real Ass Podcast or Legion of Skags.
So then I dropped it off at FedEx. My boyfriend and I had dinner with my parents, which is always like a whole thing. And then we came back, and I'm just bad with introductions, I think. Like,
Did you introduce him to your parents as Johnny, or did you actually say?
I'm awkward with introductions, and I think that he was.
Dad, this is the boy that's been inside of me lately.
No, that's.
I mean, my boyfriend.
Yeah.
My friend.
I think he was also like a little nervous to meet you, so he was just like focused on his joint rolling.
Yeah.
Nervous.
He seemed nice enough.
Does he listen to the show?
He's just like a quiet person. I think that some of the comics kind of
That's a lie.
intimidate him a little bit.
No, that's what girls say to cover up for their psychotic boyfriend who wants to fight everyone she comes into contact
No,
with.
he's definitely that was my ex for sure.
Oh,
But,
really?
Yeah, I feel
Did he hear us call him baloney dick?
no, he would never listen to any of the shows, but like he was that uninterested. Like this guy's actually nice.
Yeah, once I saw it, I assumed it was your boyfriend. I didn't know until I came here today to find.
Right.
But once I saw him rolling a joint, I was like, they're going steady.
And what do you? Yeah, well, that's love language right there. What do you like? Is he a fit? What do you think?
Yeah,
His ocular
he seems.
pat down.
Yeah, and my ocular assessment deemed he wasn't a threat, but he was. He was. He looked. They looked like a couple. That's why I assumed it was a boyfriend. So yeah, I guess he was. Like I said, he was nice enough. He was rolling a joint, so my compatibility is obviously
off the charts. Imagine he doesn't smoke. He just does that for Alex.
Yeah, that would be.
He's like a Lil Wayne roadie for Alex.
Yeah. Then Alex peeled away on 2 tires again and she just came swinging with it like Xena Warrior Princess throwing it out of the car.
That is just the best.
Yeah. So I'll say, actually, you know what? I have another mini thing that I'll talk about. I'll kick it back to you. But yeah.
So day 2, or day 1, I guess, really being there, the first day I just drove up, I have all these illusions of grandeur, right? Or delusions of grandeur. And I came there with 2 tripods. I came there with my giant ring light. I was gonna do all this different shit in my room, right? And I realized that like right when I was checking in, like the lady doesn't know I'm a comic. She just thinks I'm about to like film a hardcore gay porn up on the 7th floor of the Earth Tower. So I'm just, I'm like, okay, realizing also the Mandalay Bay thing, metal clicking together. And I'm like, what am I doing? Walking with like a fucking duffel bag that looks like I carry semi-automatics. It's awful. So whatever. But I did spend the day, I shot this stupid sketch that I wanted to be like nothing. And it just became something because I got too annoyed at it.
Yeah.
And so it took me 6 hours. And I was like, and I don't even like it all that. I just posted it today and I was like, it's fine.
It was funny.
It was fine.
My
but I was
favorite
like,
part was reading all of your other notes that you had that you tried to quickly crop in on, but you could see all of the notes that you wrote.
Oh,
like, like positivity things and like ideas, premises.
Did you pause it? You
Oh yeah,
so
dude. Joe Rogan quotes to help you get through the day.
No, I'll
conquer your inner bitch is what it said.
Oh, that said that on the open thing. I put that on the goddamn sketch.
But
But
it was written down
some
before.
self-care stuff. Ooh, I have some stuff about trauma. Yeah. Yep. No, you're almost all accurate. There's nothing more hurtful than the truth.
No, it was funny. It was really funny. It's vulnerable.
Yeah.
Wildly vulnerable.
I like to put those little Easter eggs in my sketches just so, the real fans can dig deep and just see how I'm feeling at the time.
Yeah, it was fun.
So, I spend the day, I do that for 6 hours. I like kind of work out. So I do most of what I wanted to get done, And it's also like, I just realized that I don't smoke weed during the day anymore unless we do this podcast, like, unless I come into the city, because I'm just a nighttime. Like, it's just too much shit going on. I just got to work. I got a parent. It's like too much shit. I just can't get high. So but when I'm at the casino, I'm like, I can.
Right.
I remember. I'm a singular adult. This is unbelievable.
Right.
I'm only responsible for myself right now. This is great. So I did a little bit of that, which was super fun. But then I go down for night 2. This is Friday. And I get down there and like there's a new opener. And I was like, oh, well, that's weird. Like, what's happened? Because Gordon comes from Jersey. He's not Connecticut. Like, he's not even really local.
Right.
So he traveled and he had a room. He was staying in the hotel. I thought he was mad at me. Like, that's how big of a narcissist I am because I left. Yeah. And he's like, you're not hanging?
Fuck you. I'm not taking the weekend. I'm leaving after day 1.
Yeah, it turns out he was in the hospital.
Oh, no.
He had so the week before, this is how fucked up shit is, obviously, with comics having to earn a living. And that's why any fucking elitist twat that's just waxing poetic about how we're irresponsible and pieces of shit for going on the road. It's just so misguided. It's infuriating. Yeah. It's like we're actually just attempting to provide for ourselves, and this is the job that we took.
I'd almost make it. You could almost make a point that if that could apply to the elite rich comedians, you know what I'm saying? Like the A-list, the people who do arenas probably don't need to be doing it right now.
Yeah.
That might be a little socially irresponsible if they're putting together large things, but it's like for us or even anybody 3 levels above us still are not, there's nothing. So it's
how I earn my living. The only way that I know, it's just from mostly comics that don't do the road or tour the road when it's put together by their agent or they're opening for somebody that's huge. Any of that bullshit. It's like, the road isn't the same for us. That's not even your job. Like, your job is writer of whatever the fuck.
Right.
Or, you get to, you do fucking stupid, ad posts on Instagram. I was really struggling.
I was trying to even help you, but couldn't even guess the direction you were trying to go.
Because it was in my throat along with a gallon of phlegm and nerves and my brain just kind of running into each other.
Alex drank a cool Dr. Pepper while you were struggling. Just
just threw it back like Forrest Gump at the White House.
Pretty hot under those lights, isn't it, Jerry? Pretty hot. Actually, I'm quite comfortable. So anyway.
So Gordon's in the hospital, but he what happened was he had got surgery the week before. Like, I'm not going to give his fucking medical history, but he had gotten surgery and he thought he was okay to work.
Sure.
And it turned out that he very much wasn't. And he had to fucking go. He had to go to the hospital and like get a bunch of stuff taken care of. And it was like a really scary situation to also like how casually it was told to me. Cause like I love the dude that ended up opening for me. It was Marty Caproni. Do you know him?
I know Marty, yeah.
Such a funny dude from
Yeah.
Massachusetts.
Works his ass off.
Works his ass off, is a vet comic too. Like, you know, he's like one of us. He like constantly shit talks himself, and I had to be like, hey, I had to do the Brendan thing where I was like, hey, stop being mean to my friend Marty.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
Like, you're a great comic, chill out. But he was great, but then other people were like, oh yeah, Gordo's in the hospital. And I'm like, what the fuck? It's kind of troubling to just walk into, but sure, all right. So but actually, like, this is where also my sociopathy comes in, because right when I realized that Gordon wasn't going to be there, I kind of felt a little bit of a relief because I didn't have to socialize now. Like, nobody I knew.
So you just knew there wasn't a chance you were interested in talking to Marty.
At
so you were
all.
just like, it's out. At all. He just knew. He's like, oh, fuck it. I don't have to talk to Marty. Gordon, I would have had to talk to, Black Lives Matter. This. Now. Another Massachusetts white guy. Fuck him.
That's why my shoulders are so far back. I didn't have to hear how terrible me and my kind are. Oh my God, I just hurt my neck.
Uh-oh.
Even just having posture.
Yeah.
That really sucked. This happened. So as, after the show is kind of, uneventful. Like, it was fun. I definitely felt a bit more comfortable. It was just one of those things where, like, the sentences left my mouth smoother.
Yeah.
The first night, it's kind of like hiccupy. Nobody notices except for us, and I got the footage of that Long Island bomb. I showed you the last, 45 seconds of it last night. But even, like, in my head, I was, like, all herky-jerky and panicky and all that shit. And then watching it, I'm like, oh, I wasn't.
Right.
It's you can't even tell. But so I get done. Sorry. I get done, and the show's fine. I end up eating and hanging out a little bit with Marty and Mike. So we're just talking. Mike is wearing like 14 masks.
Yeah.
I'm wearing 6 myself. Marty's sitting there like basically licking the bar stool, and but we're having a great time. Had the bacon cheeseburger or whatever. That was fucking unbelievable.
Is it
like
bacon cheeseburger?
I literally just like one gulp just slotted it in my stupid face, and then I go outside every single time I walk back to the. Oh, I was gonna do mushrooms that night. Like, Friday was the night, right? But I had like such a weird reaction to Gordon being in the hospital and being completely taken off guard. And also, like, the set was good, but I was like having that existential crisis of like, am I good at this? Like, I don't know what my bits are, like all this stuff. So I was just like, if I took mushrooms right now, I would leave. Like, I'd end up getting in my car and driving mid-trip and getting the fuck out of Connecticut. So I ended up not doing it, which probably was for the best. But then I go outside to smoke, and I'm taking edibles and smoking. I'm putting myself right at the tip of mushrooms. And as I'm walking out, I see this mother screaming at her 12-year-old about sharing a blunt with a stranger outside.
What?
Screaming at a 12-year-old.
Yeah.
About sharing a blunt with a stranger outside, and I genuinely had to take pause and remember if it was me. Like, I was like, did I just give this kid part of my blunt? Like, am I freaking out? Or was I close to him and, like, billowed a fucking smoke plume and he was
shotties?
like, some bullshit like that? But I didn't even see them, so it definitely had nothing to do with me. But I was just like, that was fucking insane. And then I, like, the walk back, I went and got Johnny Rockets.
Wow.
Awesome.
Second burger of the night.
I got Johnny Rockets and I didn't really eat during the day because I spent the entire day editing a mediocre sketch. So I had 2 burgers and then and I had a fucking milkshake. So I had just fire hydrant diarrhea for the rest of the weekend. It was insane. But even walking down to Johnny Rockets and like walking back up, it's like you see people and they're like they're wearing. You ever see that underwear or that bathing suit that's like just the slip, like it barely covers the lips.
Sure.
You know, it's almost like a fucking electrical tape.
It's like a thicker G-string.
It's the best. But also, that's how people are wearing their masks. They're like wearing it as an eye patch over their mouth, and it's like people like almost go out of their way and try harder to be fucking morons than they do. Like if you just put it on. It's like it doesn't have to be a thing,
right?
Like you're trying, and you could tell that like some of the dudes are like making a fucking statement about it, like tell me to fix it, you know? And it's like, no, I will not, because I understand that you're a physical threat, and I mean, you know, you'll pay the price eventually. You know, I firmly believe that.
Sure.
But then I again hid in the room for a long time as people partied all around me.
When you were in the room, did you read all the 5-star reviews we have on iTunes to make you feel better?
I did.
That's great.
I really did.
Oh, that's why there's all these new ones pouring in, and you guys can help that by leaving us a 5-star review on iTunes. Do it right now. What are you waiting for? As you're listening, come on, get over there and leave us a 5-star review. Tell some friends about the podcast. That always helps. If you want to support the show in other ways, you can get a subscription to Gas Digital Network by using the code IGP. It gives you a 2-week free trial to all of our episodes. We got well over 200, and you get all of them plus our bonus content. All the other shows on the network, their bonus content, all their episodes. It's crazy. There's like 23 shows at least on the network now, so it's quite a small price to pay. And then you also get a discount to podcastmerch.com.
Oh, baby.
I want to make this clear. You don't have to have a Gas Digital Network subscription to buy one of these shirts or these hoodies. You pay less if you have a subscription.
That's right, yeah.
But if you want to pay full price,
it's not a full Benny, but it's a half Benny.
Yeah, it really helps us as well. So check them out. And look, the hoodie's back. We got the other hoodie back.
Goddamn right.
So that's great and killer. Let's do it. And
our next sweatshirt is just going to be a drawing from navel to mid thigh and just a strip over a puss.
Yeah, it's like like the dick towel almost.
Yeah, but just on the chest of our sweatshirt.
Yeah. All right, that works for me.
Yeah, and it'll say labius plethora.
Plethora?
Yeah, plethora. It's the third set of lips.
That's fun.
Yeah.
And what else? Oh, you guys can check out Here's the Scenario. It's myself, Mike, and Brendan. Hypothetical-based podcast. We do it it comes out on Wednesdays. It's on iTunes now, so you could subscribe, do all that. We got the Patreon up if you want to support the Patreon, patreon.com/scenariopod. There it is.
Yeah.
And tell some friends, all that good stuff. And go to youtube.com. Check all of the podcasts out on YouTube. Go to youtube.com/Mike Feeney Comedy, Mike Cannon Comedy. At I am Mike Feeney, I am Mike Cannon on social media. We're putting out content every week. Subscribe, hit the guy. Listen, the second you're all subscribed, we promise to stop saying the same things over and over again every week about how easy it is to subscribe, how it costs you nothing.
We know the numbers.
Yeah,
you can't lie.
Yeah, there are way more people listening than are subscribed, so it doesn't take anything but a second of your time, and it helps us more than you'd know. So that's our plea, our call to action. Share our videos, save them, favorite them, share them in your stories. Send them to 12 people. I don't know how the algorithm works, but all that stuff. And I do have a date coming up, actually.
Nice.
I'll be at Uncle Vinny. I said coming up. It's in fucking March, I think. But did I even write it in my calendar? Oh, wait a minute. When is it?
Do you want me to do mine first?
Yes.
Okay, cool. Go to MikeCannonComedy.com for all of my dates. I actually got a bunch coming up. So February 26th and 27th, I'll be at Uncle Vinny's in Point Pleasant, New Jersey. That's the closest one coming up. Then March 11th through the 13th, I'm going to be in Tampa, Florida, baby. Super Bowl motherfucking champion, Buccaneers. Tampa, Florida at Side Splitters Comedy Club. Really excited to do that. First time at that club. I've heard nothing but good things. March 24th, I'm headlining Philly Helium. Get tickets, come out to that, and then April 6th through the 8th, I'm going to be back at Uncle Vinny's. More dates are piling in. Get your tickets, MikeCannonComedy.com, and let's fill up these fucking small capacity places because, again, it's not a big... I mean, I get it if you don't want to go out and socialize. That totally makes sense, but it's not a big ask in terms of numbers for us to sell these places out.
No,
so let's start doing that.
It feels good. March 11th is when I'll be at Uncle Vinny's. So
nice.
If you guys are around. And, Alex, where can people find you?
You can follow me on Twitter and Instagram at I am Alex Scar, and check out my podcast, Broad Topics, TOPIX, with Kim Congdon, right here on gasdigitalnetwork.com/live every Thursday at 9:30 p.m. Eastern, or you could catch it for free on iTunes and YouTube every Monday.
And our second chair, assistant co-captain pilot, G. Mike, where do people find you?
Hi, I'm G. Mike across all platforms.
Oh, that's easy. See,
yeah.
I like that. I like when it's nice and unanimous.
Dude, Alex's plug,
Uniform?
she goes into a fugue state.
Yeah.
Like she sees
It's
nothing.
said the exact same
and
every
like
time.
even moves her face with the
Yeah.
rhythm of the sentence.
Yeah.
It's terrifying.
Yeah, TOPIX, and you're like, I hear that in my nightmares. So, I
Never doing it like that again now.
So let me tell you this, pal, because this was a crazy. I wish you had done mushrooms because I think this story would hit even harder for you to do this. So, as the same week as all of that with the Charger is happening last week and stuff, I've been in a tremendous amount of lower back pain or upper back pain from my computer chair that I've had for so many years that I've been sitting on like a pillow because it's just lost all cushion and comfort.
You have a sharp ass.
I'm like, yes, and I'm on like my third pillow too. So it's like not even just a new problem. It's been probably 2 years I needed to get a new chair.
So your ass bones are just triangles that are just digging into cushion.
It is brutal, dude. It is, it's a heavy burden being this thin. So I am, Alex sounds like she's nodding.
Alex is like, I've worn the cushion down on many a chair.
Yeah, but only in 2 specific points. And so
Alex is even grade school, the hard one. It just had 2 lines carved in.
yeah. It looked like the thing that Tom Hanks was trying to make fire with. Just like the wood had worn down from generations of river and waterbed, just crushing over it, cutting through the mountain. And so I'm dying here. So I'm like, I got to get a new chair. So I do what I always do when I'm ever looking into any sort of bigger purchase, which is I just go down this crazy research rabbit hole where I'm like a full, I'd say probably over the course of a couple of days, like 10 hours of research of being like best editing chair, because I'm doing a lot of editing now. So I'm like, that is very important. So I'm not gonna fucking cheap myself out on this. I'm gonna get a nice chair. So let me do all the fucking research. So I'm looking up, when I'm editing and when I'm playing video game chairs, I'm comparing every list of like the best the chairs you have to buy right now. Yeah. Shut up and buy this, stupid. Like all of these, I'm comparing all of them and then taking the aggregate and which one's on all these websites. And I find, and one of the chairs that keeps coming up over and over again is this chair from this company called, I don't need to give them a free plug, but it's this company called Secret Lab or whatever. So it's this really nice chair, and I go, all right, I'm fucking interested in this chair. Wow. But then I look
Secret's out.
Yeah, exactly. God damn, we should work this into a plug
Took
somehow.
me 30 seconds to think of that.
So I'm looking at this chair, and it's like, and it's I look at the sticker price, and I'm initially shocked until I started researching more, but it's like it's almost $450 for this chair. So I'm like, I was expecting to spend in like the 200-ish range, but I'm finding out very quickly that's like really on the cheap end of chairs, and a lot of these high-end chairs.
That's some staple shit.
Yes, exactly,
Yeah.
which is what my old chair was, which was about $200. So now I'm looking at all these other ones, and they're like $1,400 for a fucking chair, And so this one, I'm like, on the grand scheme, $400 something. It's not that much, and if I have it 5 years, it's less than $100 a year. I'm starting to but I'm like, let me not buy it right this second. I'm gonna wait. So I hold off on it for a day or two. Then the next day, I'm doing more research, trying to pretty much talk myself out of getting that chair. Mm-hmm. I'm like, what's the closest thing I can be happy? I'm looking at it's got fucking armrests that go out and in, up and down, fucking forward and back, and turn, and they pivot in. So like you can they're like, it's 4 or 5 different ways it adjusts. And now I'm like, well, I have to have that in any chair.
This is an argument against VPNs though, because had you not been on a VPN, you would have been targeted deals for the same chairs.
Yeah,
and you would have gotten like 50% off.
Yeah. So now I go into the next thing, which was I'm going to buy this chair. I'm kind of sold on this chair. Let me see if I can find a discount. So I'm looking up discount codes. I'm looking up forums, and people are like, if you email them through their website and ask for a coupon code, they'll usually send you one for like, $20 or $30 off. And I'm like, okay, that'll at least make me feel a little bit better. So I reach out to them, and they're like, hey, wait, fuck you, we'll let you know. So I got nothing. So I'm like, God damn it. So I hold off one more day, and I'm like, I'm going to buy this chair tomorrow. So I go to buy the chair. So the night before, I'm like, now I'm starting to think about my office. And I go, I want to, if I'm going to get a new chair, I might as well get a new desk, because the desk I'm using is this glass desk that used to be, I bought this L-shaped desk on Amazon, and it was all glass, but it was huge. It was so fucking big, it took up like half the room. So what I did was I took the desk apart in half. I took one part of the L and then threw the other part out. So this part is not meant to stand on its own, so I have to wedge it against a wall with weight so it doesn't wobble. And even every time you write, it's wobbling left and right. So it's not sturdy at all. So I'm like, I'm getting a new fucking desk with the new chair. Fuck it, let's go. Let's get the new fucking desk. So now I'm starting to think about desks, and I go, what kind of desk do I want? I'm looking everywhere, and then I remember just subconsciously in the back of my head, I remember this comedian that we know, this comedian Eli. He put up a picture of his gaming setup with this. He says something about the new desk in the post, and I remember it was very minimalist and looked nice. And I go, he had a good desk. I want to go see what desk he had. So I go on Instagram. I scroll back a couple weeks, find it. I click on the fucking picture of his desk, dude. And he has the chair that I want to buy. He's got the exact chair, the same color.
He has your life.
The same color, the same kind. I'm like, what are the fucking odds that he has the exact chair the same fabric, everything, the color pattern, it's all exact chair. And I go, holy shit. So now I'm excited because I go, now I finally know somebody who has this chair, So I reach out to Eli and I go, buddy, I can't believe you got this chair. Tell me about the chair. Do you like it? Do you love it? Should I buy it? Is it worth it? I'm sending him all these text messages, and he writes back and he goes, crazy you're messaging me right now. I just bought a new chair and I'm selling my old chair. And I go, get the fuck out of here. And he goes, I got a studio apartment. I got two big gaming chairs. I can't have this. I tried to put it up on Instagram, but no one had offered me anything yet for it. So I want $150 for it. So I'm starting to think about that in my head, and I go, $150 I was just about to spend $450.
Yeah.
Now it's $150. So I'm like, okay, I can look at it it's $150 to take a flyer to see if I like it, even if it lasts a year or two.
Right.
It'd be worth it, right? So I go, all right, how's it? He's like, it's in great condition, no scratches, no anything like that. It's got a tiny little tear on one of the armrests, but you could replace those for $60 or something. So I'm like, okay.
Did you ask him?
What?
Did you ask him?
Ask him what?
If he jerked off in the chair?
No, I thought about asking how many times were you naked in that chair, but it was his only chair, so it must have been many. Yeah, many times. So I go, and also I thought about that too, and then I thought about what I would gain from asking that. It would only ruin it.
I felt bad asking it now.
Yeah.
I gotta be honest.
I had considered it, and so I go to myself and I go, all right, and I'm starting to think about it, and I go, maybe I'll just buy the new one, but I'm kind of waffling on it, so I'm like, I'll let you know, I'll come sit on it this week and see what we think. I'll come give it a sit, and let me see what I think. And then I realized I got a little bit of leverage here. He's got two giant chairs and a studio apartment. He's got to get that thing out.
Time is his enemy.
He's been trying to sell it, so I kind of go a little radio silent for a little bit. So I was just kind of contemplating it myself, and he comes back to me and he goes,
"Don't downplay your deviousness." That's hilarious. Did you see that? Him actively saying that he was leveraging time against him, and then being like, "I'm a friend," and I was just kind of contemplating it.
I worked in sales for 9 years. I know how this game is played. So
I know how to walk halfway out the store.
Yeah. I'll go right now. And so he messaged me back, because again, time, like you said, is his enemy. And he goes, if it would assuage any, feelings or worries that you have, I'm willing to do it for $100.
Wow.
And I go, all right, I'll stop by and check it out. So I go by.
Yeah, I'll let you take a $350 bag.
Yeah, so I go by, I check out the chair. It's in mint condition. So I'm like, of course, I'll buy this. I buy this. Meanwhile, then I'm walking out, and he goes, hey, because I was telling him about how I want to stream, and he goes, I have this thing that's this capture card that helps you stream from your PlayStation to your computer, and you need a better computer than what you have now, but when you get your new computer, this is it's like, and I've looked that up before, it's like a $200+ piece of equipment.
Yeah.
And he was like, I have a computer now, I have no use for this. Do you want it? And I was like, you don't for nothing? I was like, you could sell that. And he's like, I know I could, but it's more trouble than it's worth. I just want it out of here. So if you want to take it. And I was like, yes. So I went a day earlier. I was willing to spend $445 on a chair. The next day I spent $100 on the chair that I wanted and a $200+ thing, all for $100. I fucking walking out of there. I was like, this is what I'm talking about. If you want to believe in synchronicity or something of you put it out into the universe and then it comes back or everything. But it's so weird that all of that, the way in which all of those situations unfolded.
I mean, if you think hard enough, gang, eventually you could take advantage of a friend.
That's your takeaway? Not my brilliant marketing strategy?
I mean, I at the beginning of the story, I was like, Eli, why wouldn't you give him a plug? And then by the end of the story, I was like, I see.
And I gotta tell you, most comfortable fucking chair I've ever sat in my life. It's changed my life. And, if the company would pay me, I would highly endorse them for sure.
Oh, wow. Well, that was something.
Yeah. So, boy, it feels good. I don't know if the chair feels good or just because I know what I spent on it. It feels way better. Alex, how's the chat? No.
So let's get back to comics.
Yeah, go.
I forgot night two during the show. More than 10 people booed a nurse for getting vaccinated.
Yeah, that's Uncasville.
Yeah, I was like, okay, what a super weird thing. But we talked about it last time. It didn't surprise me in the moment. I even said that my buddy headlined here last week, and I assume you aren't regulars. So that just means most of you are willing to boo a frontline worker for protecting themselves against the virus they're fighting.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
I was like, cool, guys. So whatever. So it took me till Saturday to remember that it was Super Bowl Sunday. Do you know what? I didn't.
You were there.
It was Super Bowl weekend.
Yeah.
Or whatever. I didn't put that together for some reason. So casinos typically get an influx of people during Super Bowl weekend. It wasn't really like that, but I was observing pretty bizarre behavior on people, and I didn't know what it was until I realized half these fucking mooks and idiots were having their first ever existential crisis because Tom Brady and Rob Gronkowski were fucking playing for the Bucks. Who do I root for?
Yeah.
They were just all panicking. And I even brought that up on stage Saturday, and it destroyed on a level of that's all I've had to say this entire time. I'm so dumb for not recognizing that. But it was hilarious that I was like, oh, so you guys are wearing Pats hats, but you're rooting for the Bucks, and you're having a legitimate problem with that.
Right.
And then some people in the room, were cross-fighting, be like, Belichick for life, fuck Tom, all this shit. And I'm like, well, obviously you're wrong.
Yeah.
I was like, you're proven wrong this year, so your opinion is dog shit.
Yeah.
I was like, and you guys will be good in 10 years when Belichick fucking releases his stranglehold that he has on the franchise he's won all these games for.
Yeah, 100%. And now it's like you can't even fucking argue. If you wanted to argue before, as a Giants fan, it's like, I always people are like, who's going to win this weekend? I'm like, the Chiefs are the heavy favorites, but you never bet against Tom Brady, unless he's the Giants.
And all it does is strengthen Eli Manning's case for the Hall of Fame. It's great. But I did bet against Tom Brady, and I lost. I bet the over also because I didn't think that the Chiefs receivers would gain cerebral palsy right before the game.
Yeah, we really took a bath in that Super Bowl pool too.
Yeah, oh man, I lost every pool, every number, every bet that I put in, and I had all these prop bets lined up, like Gronkowski scoring, Des Bryant. Or not Des Bryant. The other guy, the troubled fella, Antonio Brown. I was saying we should bet him scoring. I had all these prop bets lined up, and I was trying to convince my buddies who I went in on the big bets with, and they were just like, "Nope, you want to stay away from that shit. We definitely hit this and this." Sure things. And of course, we lost everything. So that Saturday, every morning basically started. I couldn't sleep. I made in the sketch, the one true thing is all of it was true, but the real true thing is I go into this weekend being like, I'm fucking sleeping till 11, dude. Right. I can't fucking wait. This is going to be amazing. The amount of times that I legitimately was like popped up, being like looking for my son,
right,
and like, or figuring out what's going on. I was like, Jesus Christ, this is just embedded in me for the rest of my life. There's no way I'll sleep past 8:30.
You were never a sleeper anyway, though. You were always a morning guy.
Not even a morning guy. I just suffered
not
through
a sleeper.
it. Yeah, I'm just not a sleeper.
Yeah.
So but by the end of it, by Saturday, I slept till 8:45 a.m. and I was like, holy shit, this is like the greatest morning of my life. And so I go down to Starbucks, I make my order. I'm like violently high. I went outside and I smoked in the morning. I'm like, treat yourself, have a day, have the best time. So I'm like violently high. I walk to Starbucks. I put in my order. There's dots where everybody needs to stand, all that stuff. I stand kind of like against the railing waiting for my order to come up. And the lady behind me has like full angry Bruce Banner hair, like wet Hulk, frayed ends out, like wild scene, right? And she's holding a bag, like, and I'm like, what the fuck is that? And there's a straw coming from the bag, and I'm like, is this lady just like having a fun drink with a paper bag in the casino? This is weird. And then I look at her, and it's a full oxygen tank. So she's got like her mask over her eyebrow. She's like sucking down oxygen. She's ordering from Starbucks. She's like, holding it in her mouth while she digs through her pocket with her hand. And she just, she looks at me and I look at her and she goes, yeah, this is so heavy. I feel like I can't walk past this. And like starts doing this entire like crazy ass act out. And I laughed because she was trying to be humorous.
Of course.
I was horrified because of what she looked like.
Sure.
But I then realized, like, I'm trying to catch myself in the middle of easy judgment. Do you know what I mean? Because there's two ways to look at that, right? One is you look at that and you're like, what the fuck are you doing here?
Right.
Why are you in this casino? Why you have oxygen? There's a fucking lung pandemic going on. Like, you are a prime target to go. Sure. What are you doing, right? And then the other thing is like, you have 14 days tops to live. You better, get in here, lady. Have the time of your fucking life.
Yeah, you may not be, it's either playing roulette on the fucking casino floor or playing Russian roulette every day. So.
Yeah, or just like, forgetting to feed your cats again and having them die under your couch.
Right, yeah.
Like that's what she fully looked like. So I just, like, I tried to catch myself in that moment, and I think I did a good job of, like, being like, all right, I righted the ship. She has a right to be here. I think, she's dying. So night 3, I get a DM before the show, right? From some chick, and she's like, we're coming to your show tonight, me and some friends, right? And I'm like, I just like it. I'm like, cool. Well, all right. And then it said like hours pass, and right before the show, oh no, I said I liked it because I looked and she didn't follow me. So I was like, classic. Great.
Yeah.
Okay. So she probably just saw me on the website and decided to reach out. So I clicked whatever. Hours later, she's like, how do I get front row seats? We promise we won't heckle. Right. And I'd never answer that. I just completely
that's also
leave it unseen.
the sign of anybody who's like dying to sit in the front is a big problem.
Funny you bring that up, Michael. Funny you bring that up because during the set, Marty gets out there and he's killing all weekend, doing great. He's switching up jokes. I mean, the kid's got a ton of material. He's really, really good. So I hear him get heckled instantly. And he's like a no bullshit fucking Massachusetts dude. So he's just like, same as me. He's like, what are you doing? Cut your shit. Like, boom, undressing her pretty much. But again, it's unshameable, all this stuff. And I kind of just hear the muffled of it, whatever. And it just like, it was one of those sets where it went fine, but it wasn't like, it definitely was awkward. Like you could hear kind of the coldness and no momentum.
Right.
And it was because of that situation. So he brings me on. As soon as I get up, oh no, when Marty walks out, she goes, nice shirt. Like before he even reaches the stage. And then later in his set, she goes, balls. Like, so it's like that level of heckling where you're like, you're not even giving me anything to work with.
Right.
And frankly, it's like, it's enough for me to get fucking violent.
Yeah,
like
yeah.
I'm so pissed off right now. It's fucking insane. So I get up, and I say something, I do my opening joke. It does well, but I hear them talking and I go, get out.
Yeah.
I go, get out. And they go, what? I go, Other people paid to see this show. Other people haven't been around people for a long time, and we want to enjoy each other's company. There's an entire casino out there that not only, like, they fucking beg you to talk and have a good time and socialize. I was like, just get the fuck out. And the big security guard. Step to the kid. Oh, it was the best. It was the biggest step to the kid of all time, because I'm just like, just get out of here.
They're so good at security there. If you're a performer and you want them gone, there's no like indecisive thing where the bouncers are sitting there being like, is this a joke or do you actually want me to? They're like, they'll fucking horse collar him.
Well, and before I went up, like, their whole thing is like,
they warn you.
I know you're interactive. Like, we deal with that shit, and sometimes it's fun. It can make for unique moments in the show. But it also, when it's of no help and it's like clearly an aggressive bully bullshit tactic by some fucking twat that probably got free tickets, it's like, get the fuck out of here. So he told me before the show, he's like, so if you want them out, just say, like, can you get them a soda? And I was like, okay, cool. And instead I go, get the fuck out.
And he walked over and got him the fuck out.
That's when you want to make your Irish goodbye.